I'm David Vella. I'm the city manager. I've been here since June of last year. Prior to that, I was in Abilene for close to 10 years. Prior to that, I was down in South Texas doing some city managing for a few years before that. So total 20 years in state and local government, 14 of those at the city administration level. And it's been a great honor to be here in Sweetwater the last year plus as your city manager. What I'm going to go ahead and do is open the door.
I'm so sorry.
It has to be you, right?
That's me.
All
I'm a troublemaker.
I can just kind of, I usually walk around, but I can stay over here. Sorry, let me get back to center. I'm just going to give a little presentation. It shouldn't take terribly long about what the city does as an organization, as a community. Some of the things that we've been chasing after for a little while, short and long-term goals, those kinds of things. Kind of the philosophy that we use as stewards of public funds and as leaders in this community. Just some quick facts about the organization and the community. We are a commission manager form of government. Other cities like our neighbors to the east in Abilene or city council, we're city commission. Therefore, we got a commission manager form of government or a council manager in other cities. But all that really is the city manager and the commission work together on making decisions, setting policy. They'll make the policy decisions and they'll say, okay, city manager, go out and do this. And I'll make sure through working through the staff and with the staff that we get those things done. Another type or form of government at the local level is a strong mayor. You see those in the larger cities. Houston, for example, New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles. They don't have city managers. They might have a chief of staff for the mayor, but the mayor is the head of government and serves in that day-to-day capacity. The city of Sweetwater was incorporated as a municipality in 1902. We are a home rule city, and all that means there's different types of city governments in Texas, type A, B, and C, general law cities, and that depends on population. A lot of the smaller towns that you see around here are one of those three types of governments. And what that means is they can only do the things that are contained in state law. They can't make their own laws or ordinances, like you saw some of the ordinances go in place today. They wouldn't be able to prohibit parking along I-20 by ordinance because they don't have that capability. But as a home rule city, we have our city charter, which acts as the constitution really for the city. It tells us what we can do and what we can't do. And every home rule city in Texas has the city charter to go. That's what makes it a home rule city, in fact. We have a $27 million all-inclusive budget that includes the general fund and our other special funds. 140 employees and about 4,500 water accounts, both on the residential, commercial, and industrial side that we are responsible for within the city. Going back to the commission, they serve really as our board of directors. They set the policy, they hire the city manager. They also fire the city manager from time to time. They approve the budget on an annual basis. We do meet with them once a month as per our city charter. It's in here. We meet on the second Tuesday of every month, and you saw the gentleman up here just a minute ago. Mayor McKenzie is our mayor. Commissioner May, going from your right to left. Mr. Jim Lee is the commissioner of precinct 2. Mr. Castro was not here, was not able to be here with us this morning. He's the commissioner that serves precinct 3 on the west side of town. And Dr. Peak was here. He serves as the commissioner for precinct 4. So we do have precincts or districts, and the mayor is elected at large in the city. In the city departments, I just kind of wanted to give this opportunity for the directors that are here with us today. To not all of them are here. We have some that are previously indisposed and all that. So not everybody's here, but I did want to give them the opportunity to stand up and let everybody know who they are, how long they've been here, and what exactly they're responsible for in the organization. Administration, I've kind of taken care of that. We have our director of administrative services, Lisa Dahmed, back there. If you would, Lisa, kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what you do here. And Patty, we've got as our city comptroller, Patty. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, no small thing, right? Especially with the election. Yeah. Thank you, Patty, and Mr. Harris in City Services, if you would. All right, thank you, Kirk. And just to keep going, Fire EMS Chief Madden is outside with Stryker and the demonstration on that. But he's been around for a while. I think he's been chief for about 10 years or so, and been with the department for forever and a day. Chief Frida was here, but I guess these guys got better things to do. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. They're always coming up with something. But he had to leave, and we apologize for that. Public Works, Russell Jones is our Public Works director. He's not here. He's feeling under the weather. So he oversees streets and parks and recreation and our internal services, our garage, those types of things. And we do have Tanya back there in SNAP. It's your turn, Tanya. All right, thank you, Tanya. And we have Mr. Campbell right next there.
Good morning. My name is Eddie Campbell. I'm a water utilities director for the city of Sweetwater. This coming January, I'll be with the city for 29 years. We have a small portion. We have a water plant, wastewater plant, the well field, which has 40 wells. We oversee 3 lakes, 3 remote booster stations. We have a distribution collection department, which is mostly the maintenance department for the city of Sweetwater, the water, sewer, fire hydrants, and also among the meter department.
Thanks, sir. And Zach in IT, if you would.
Yeah, so I just take care of all the computers. My name's Zach Thomas. I'm the IT director. And all this stuff we broadcast it on YouTube, so you can go check out our channel. And I take care of the police department, fire department, SNAP, water department, and here. So just do a little bit of everything.
All right, thank you all for taking the time to be here and do those introductions. I think it's important that y'all know the kind of all the different things that we do here at the city. We're not just producing widgets and that's all we do. We do everything. We do a lot, but it all comes down to service. We're here to serve. We're a service organization. We're not here to make money for our stockholders or anything like that. In fact, we're here to save money for our taxpayers. So it's very, the parallels between public and private business are there. We have our board of directors. We have our CEO. We have our responsibility to our taxpayers, our shareholders, and the people that we serve. But instead of us sitting here making money and figuring out how to pay dividends at the end of the year, we're here to serve and save you guys money and be as efficient and as effective as we can in delivering the services that you expect from all of us here at the city. And I know I'm on a time crunch, so I'm gonna go through the rest of it quickly. Mission and values, what we did about this time last year, and I believe it was the December meeting that we brought our draft mission statement and value statement to the commission. That was put together by our directors team. Everybody who introduced themselves just now had a great big old part in putting together this mission statement and the values. They really kind of locked themselves in a room and worked together, debated on the right verbiage to use, the right words to put in there. I stepped out. I mean, I didn't want to be in a position where I would influence anything, so I stepped out, and this was something that the directors came up with the help of a consultant that we hired to come in for that purpose. And this is what I think. It's a great statement. It's succinct. It's to the point, and it says a lot about what we do here and why we're here, which is what a mission statement's supposed to do, right? We lead with trust and respect to provide a vibrant, secure community for all. That's it. Who does it? We. What do? We lead. How do we lead? With trust and respect. With trust and respect for what? To provide. To provide what? A vibrant and secure community for who? For all. For everybody. I think it's a great statement. And so we've started putting that on our letterhead, our business cards, and I've made cards for occasions like that. It, we start the first slide to the commission meeting has the mission and the values on it. It's on our website. Any kind of employee newsletters that we put out or communications to the public put out have the mission, have the values on there. So it's permeated the organization. It's not just something that we came up with, got approved, and then just forgot about. We've really tried to do a good job with pushing that out to the community and particularly within the organization. So again, we lead with trust and respect to provide a vibrant, secure community for all. And the example that I like to use about values is you can have a mission. Say my mission is to get a high paying job. That's my mission. That's my goal in life as the next step. Uh, well, how are you going to do that? You can fudge your resume and say that you went to some Ivy League school and you have all this training and all this stuff. But how? And you maybe you get the job and maybe you accomplished your goal. But how did you do it? You lied. You cheated. You stole the position from somebody who really was qualified, but you got the job. So how do you want to accomplish your goals? I guess is what I'm trying to ask. And that was the kind of second part of our foray into coming up with a mission statement and a value statement. We know what we want to do now. Now we got the mission approved. How are we going to do it? How are we going to lead with trust and respect to provide a vibrant, secure community for all? And these four things are what the directors also came up with. We're going to do that. We're going to accomplish our mission through professionalism, being professional in all our interactions with each other and with the public. We're going to do that with integrity. We're going to do that with continuous improvement and trying to find different ways of doing things better and more efficient. That's what we owe to the taxpayers. And we can't do any of this without working together as a team. Nothing's going to be accomplished in an organization our size, in an organization like ours, unless we learn to work together as a unit, as a team, to accomplish what we want to do. So we're proud of that. I'm proud of the directors for coming up with it. Again, I think it's a great statement. I think the values correspond just beautifully with what we're trying to do here at the city. Just a little bit about short-term goals. I'll talk about long-term goals, and I got one more slide, and then we can get out of here. The short-term goals that we're kind of working on right now, we're gonna work with Seed. Seed is taking the lead on this, meaning they're paying for it, which is a good thing. To complete a housing study. When I came on board in June, and prior to that, we were trying to find housing, and it was kind of difficult. We had a good go of it till something kind of finally fell in our lap. And doctor, I know you're kind of shaking your head. You know what I'm talking about. Many of you probably do. We had a home that fell in our lap, and it worked for us, and we were very blessed with that. But prior to that, there was months and months and months of just trying to find something that fit our family, and just couldn't do it. It just wasn't there. And by the charter, I have to live in the city. I can't live 1 foot outside the city. I have to live in the city, which is typical of city managers. But that kind of, there are plenty of homes outside in the county that we would have snatched up in a second. But within the city, that was a difficult thing. And so what we took to Seed was, hey, look, let's work together to try to come up with a study to see where we are, see where the deficiencies lie in affordable housing and market rate housing. Because I think we probably have enough affordable. It's the market rate that we're kind of lacking here in Sweetwater. I want to begin work on our Parks Master Plan. This was something that I talked about to the leadership Sweetwater Group last year. We're in the process of working with a consultant to put this master plan together. It was approved in September by the commission, and there's a number of projects in here that we're real excited to explore. We've the number one project that the community told us, because this was really driven and built by the, the members of this community. We didn't sit up in our offices and say, you know, we want projects 1 through 10, and here they are, put them in the book. Consultant. We went out there and took our time with holding open houses, surveys, you know, any kind of feedback that we could get, you know, through our website, through email, whatever the case may be. And so this document, this planning document, was really built by feedback from the community. So the number one project that the community wants is a youth sports complex, about 100 acres, football, baseball, softball, practice fields, those kinds of things, a playground, splash pad on site to keep everybody, a dog park perhaps, for the folks that bring dogs, they can, between games, let them run around. And for the folks here in town who have that kind of an interest. And so, you know, that's the number one project. We're looking at another one of the couple of top projects were the splash pads in a couple of parks in our city on the north and south side. We're looking at a trail system, hike and bike trail, those kinds of things. Those are the top 3 or 4 projects that came out of this feedback that we got from the citizens. And so we're looking at that, particularly with the youth sports complex. It's a cost right now of about $10 million. We know that the citizens want it, those that participated in the surveys and all that, but we can't go out and spend $10 million just because people want it. It has to make sense for us from an economic standpoint. We have to do a feasibility survey to figure if that project is feasible. If we build it, will they come, kind of thing. And so we're just not in a position to say $10 million, sure, you guys want it, let's go build it, and it's empty, and I'm out of a job. Yeah, I don't want that. I want to keep working, and I like it here. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we've got a feasibility study, and if the feasibility study says yes, that project is feasible, then we proceed. If it says no, we work on something else. So that's kind of at the point that we are with the Parks Master Plan projects. We've got the projects in hand. We've got them listed in the order that the community wants them. Now, you know, how do we pay for them? Are they feasible or not? Can we market them, etc. So that's kind of where we are. Water projects are ongoing. You guys saw that with the update I gave to the commission about the elevated storage tank project. That's an exciting project. We're going to have that online very, very soon, and have the old tower that was built, I believe, in 1931, Mr. Kimball, taken down or so by the end of the year, and we'll be completely online with a new and improved tank. We're also doing some work on our distribution system. We always look at replacing pipes that need to be replaced and those kinds of things. So that work is ongoing all the time. But we've got to make sure that when you turn the faucet on, that water comes out. Because if it didn't, that'd be a bad thing. So we pay particular attention to our water department and how those projects are being monitored and built. Discuss the updated city charter. We're in the process of that. There's a bunch of stuff in here that talks about antiquated things, the things that don't exist anymore, things that we don't have the authority to do any longer because of changes that the legislature has made since the charter was last looked at. It was the charter that we're working under now was approved in 1947. And so we should have had several updates to that since that time. But here's an opportunity to do that. So we're taking a look at that, see what kind of changes that we can make that better reflect the times we're living in and the authority that we have as a city to do things. Yes, ma'am. That's more on kind of on the economic development side, and even they have their limitations as to what they can fund. The current 4A structure to the Economic Development Corporation is really traditional economic development, and that's job training, that's industrial parks and roads and infrastructure tied to qualified projects like industrial parks. So that's the structure that we're in now. The vote that took place in November is to do away with that structure and create a municipal development district that we can fund with the money that the tax dollars that are currently funded for the 4A structure. The MDD, the Municipal Development District, like we showed on that map, is created, but the 4A has that money right now. So the election in May, on May 5th, will release that money from the current 4A seed and allow the newly created MDD to pick that half cent up and then fund the MDD. Then the seed is no longer, and the MDD is what we're working under. They can continue to, yes, they can continue doing everything that the seed structure does, but it's an additional, it's an add-on what they can do. So they're not limited just to those types of projects that seed can do. They can add the quality of life and those kinds of things. Really, it's very broad. It's projects beneficial to the district, and however that's defined. And so, come in, Mr. Mayor. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. City business at work, right there. And so that newly created MDD will be able to do everything C does, plus add on. If the new MDD board decided they wanted to do a youth sports complex, and the city commission agreed with that, they could use those funds to fund, say, a $10 million youth sports complex. So their discretion is very broad on the type of projects that they could fund versus right now it's very limited with the current structure. That's a good question. Thank you for asking. Our communication efforts in social media, look for us on Twitter. We don't have a Facebook presence as of yet, but we do have Twitter. We're on Instagram. Like Zach mentioned, we're on YouTube. This meeting and the city commission meeting will be on our YouTube page just here in a little bit. And really kind of our short-term goal, we look at building relationships all the time with each other as teammates, with the community, with the business community, with the media, with those that we work with and for, including the mayor and the city commissioners, and all those good things. Building relationships is always going to be a part of your goals, short and long term. Long term goals, our water supplies. Kind of mentioned that with the EST. I mean, that's the system, that's the infrastructure. The supply part is really, can we work with other communities around to go buy water, enter into partnerships with them at another lake, at another groundwater facility. Right now we have two. We probably need three or more. And so that work to shore up water supplies, not for today, but for 50 years from now, and that's why they're under the long-term goal slide, is what we're looking at. The quality of life, like I mentioned, with the Parks Master Plan, the trails, the possibility of splash pads and those kinds of things. That's what we're looking for. City infrastructure, not only on the water side with the elevated storage tank and the pipes underground, the distribution system on the sewer side, the sewer plant, the water plant, but we're looking at roads and we're looking at sidewalks and drainage and how all that works together to provide the infrastructure that we need for the long term. We got to start doing that now. And in fact, we're looking at a roadway study to see the condition and where we need to put our dollars as far as roadways go here in the city. They're generally in pretty good shape, but there's spots that are not, and we all know where those are. So we need to take a look at those, see what kind of reconstruction efforts that we need to make to our streets, our street systems. That's how y'all get to work. That's how kids get to school. That's how y'all go shopping, use the road systems, right? And so those are very, very important. All of the three, water supplies, quality of life, and city infrastructure, in my mind, go to economic development. If you're trying to lure a company here from somewhere else, if you're trying to get a current or an existing company in Sweetwater to expand their operations, but you don't have water supplies, guess what? It's not going to work. If you don't have quality of life, a lot of companies are looking at that now. Where can my employees and their families, how can they recreate on the weekends when they're not at work? How's the school system? How's crime? Are we protected adequately through fire and EMS? Do we have old ambulances or new ambulances? People take a look at that. That's part of their analysis when they're either going to expand if they're a current business, or if they're looking to come into town and set up shop and invest in this community. Do we have the adequate police protection, or is crime sky high? And if it's sky high, maybe I think twice about investing in a $50 million facility here in town. Maybe I go down the road where they do have parks and they do have this and that. So to me, it's all a part of economic development. And of course, over the long term, you want to work on maintaining relationships. You build them in the short term, and you work at maintaining them over the long term. And one last slide, I promise. The Athenian Oath, this is something that we throw out there. I know that we have our mission and our values to fall back on, but this is something that's older and in many senses grander than something that a city can do on its own. The Athenian Oath was recited by the citizens of Athens, Greece over 2,000 years ago. It's frequently referenced by civic leaders in modern times as a timeless code of civic responsibility. And this is how it reads: We will never bring disgrace to this our city by an act of dishonesty or cowardice. We will fight for the ideals and sacred things of the city, both alone and with many. We will revere and obey the city's laws, and will do our best to incite a like reverence and respect in those above us who are prone to annul them or set them at naught. We will strive unceasingly to quicken the public sense of civic duty. Thus, in all these ways, we will transmit the city not only, not less, but greater and more beautiful than it was transmitted to us. So when we come in and do our jobs here at the city, we know that we're not going to be here forever. I mean, this is a great group, and there's a lot of good experience among the directors team and the staff. But it won't be terribly long when further down the road, none of us will be here, and it will be another group that takes over the city manager position, the IT position, etc. That's just the reality of things. You have your dawn, and then you have your dusk, and that's life, and that's professional life as well. We understand that. So when we work here during the time that we're blessed to have these positions and work in the capacity that we do in these positions of trust and responsibility, we want to do the best that we can to leave a better, more beautiful city for those that are going to come after us, not only within the organization, but the citizens that we serve. Uh, you know, I have two kids, 10 and 7, and I intend to have them both go through the school system and graduate here through SISD. And I know they will at some point, and they'll have kids one day, and they'll have grandkids. And if they decide to stay here in Sweetwater for their lives, I want them to be handed a better, more vibrant, more secure community, like our mission statement says, than the city that the community that we've inherited today. So just kind of want to leave on that. Any questions? I'm glad to answer them. If not, I know you guys got somewhere else that you need to be. So unless there's anything for me or for us, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to participate in Leadership Sweetwater. It's a great effort, and thanks for being here. Have a good day.